Welcome to Astro Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Today, we got a special treat for you. What we're going to be doing, this is going to be a few part series in doing this job. We're doing head gaskets on a 2001 Dodge Grand Caravan, the 3.3. Now also at the same time, we're going to be doing valve stem seals, because doing valve stem seals will stop a car from smoking. If you got a car that's, especially if it sets overnight and you get out in the morning or after a few hours and you start it up and it's smoking a little blue smoke, out of the tailpipe, more than likely the valve stem seals are no good. Very rare. It's very rare that piston rings go bad, all right? But the valve stem seals do. Now, first of all, this engine was already taken apart. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna show you what we got apart. Now, this is gonna be good because if you got your car, you can just take it apart, rip it apart. Don't care where the parts go, because we're gonna start from this part of the video of putting everything back together, so you can use this video as a reference. Let me get the camera. Okay, as you can see here, we got the heads off. There's the catalytic converter. You know, everything is in here. What I like about this job, now a lot of places will have you remove this whole center piece right here. You don't have to do that. As you can see, I did not remove that. So rip it off. You don't have to take off the belt or anything, you know, except for this one little bar right here that mounts to the back of the power steering pump. Just take off the bolt and you can bend that down so you can get to the bolt on the exhaust manifold for that cylinder head. But other than that, you leave the front alone. As you can see, everything is still intact. You know, it's not a bad job. Now, what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you now what. Oh yeah, that's what I want to show you. Check this out. This car had a very bad misfire sometimes. And you can see inside the catalytic converter. I'm surprised it didn't mess the catalytic converter up. See how dark that is? When you see stuff like that, that's soot right there. In there, yeah, right there. That's usually because it's been running rich. So for some reason, the car's been dumping a lot of fuel. A lot of places will tell you, yeah, you need fuel injectors, or it could be the coolant sensor. But on Chryslers and Dodges, especially the V6s, I'm gonna show you what that is. All right, so let's go over there. Let's get down there and take a look at the cylinder heads and also what we found when we took this apart. Be right back. Okay, what we have here is the fuel rail, as you can see, with the injectors up there, still mounted together. 4 bolts holding it on. There's the connector. The disconnect line is the fuel line itself. Fuel pressure regulator. The wiring harness still connected to it. Now, very, very important to check this. This should be your first. When you get a car in there, a Chrysler van with the V6, 3.3, 3.8, 3.0, it is very, very important to check the wiring harness. And I'm gonna let you know why. Go around there, look at this right here. Look at what we found. That's right, right there at the connector. This harness starts, because it's near the exhaust manifold, exhaust pipe, the pipe in the back of both exhaust manifolds, it actually starts heating up and the wire starts welding together, melting together. You see, we had pulled it back. We knew it looked kind of weird, so we decided to take a look at it. And sure enough, look at that. I am very surprised this vehicle did not catch fire. So we looked online. We found a new fuel injector wiring harness. That's what you're going to be looking for. Found one for $89. It's better than, you know, don't be cheesy and sit here and try to try to tape all that up. I mean, you probably can, but is it worth it? Is it worth this thing catching fire, spending 89 bucks, get a brand new harness? And that goes to show you, if that wiring harness is available aftermarket, there should have been a recall on that mess. There should have been a recall to make a longer wiring harness and route this someplace else. But they didn't. All right, but as I said on this video, we're gonna concentrate on doing the cylinder heads now. So I'll be right back. Let's get one of those cylinder heads. Okay, we're back. We got both cylinder heads right here. Now, if the car has a misfire, you decide, well, maybe it needs a tune-up. Take special close attention to the spark plugs. If you notice that one, let's get the. Yeah, come on, focus in there. There we go. That spark plug is clean. That one's really messed up, really dirty, and that clean. Go to the other cylinder head, clean, clean, and dirty. Now that means there's a lot of gas been going in. I mean, that fuel injector was wide open. If you get something looking like this out of your spark plugs, chances are you got a bad wiring harness. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna take a hose, just a regular garden hose, and put it on jet, and we're gonna clean these heads up. And then on this side, we're gonna remove the rockers to get to the valve stem seals. The valve stem seals are located right inside these springs. So we got to remove those springs, and I'm going to show you a great tool to use to get that done. Alright, so let's back up here a little bit. Switch this head like this. You can get a hose, and we're going to set it on jet. Now you notice I'm spraying the spark plugs too. It don't even matter. I can clean those up, and we can reuse those because we're going to have to clean them dark ones up also. This is just to get the loose oil off, so it makes it a little easier, cleaner when you're putting this thing together and all. You ain't looking for picture perfect. Get all that dirt and grime up off of there. All right, then let's turn them right side up. Now you can see there's a lot of oil on these things. Now, once we finish doing the valve stem seals, we're gonna use a pressure washer and clean this all up. Matter of fact, you know, being able to like that, I might get the pressure washer right now and clean it up. You know what? I'm gonna set up the pressure washer. Be right back. All right, here we go. The Briggs & Stratton 5.5 horsepower pressure washer. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I think that was like $100-something we got that one from Brute. It does its job for what we need it for. There's the cylinder heads. All right. First, we're gonna go over there and start it. Then I'm gonna set the camera up and try to focus in on those cylinder heads as we clean them. Let's get this done. Finally got that thing started. Now let's focus on these cylinder heads. Get them cleaned up. All right, here we go. Let's go get a closer look at these cylinder heads. All right, that looks good. Good. You know, we ain't looking to dip them anything, make them look brand new. But we got in there nice and clean, especially when we're going to end up doing these valves. That looks good. All right. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to put the pressure washer away. We're going to go set these cylinder heads up on a table. Then I'm going to show you the best tool we've came across to use to do this. All right, be right back. There's a pressure washer. Brute 5.5. It was originally purchased from, you know, personally, I hate, I'm not even going to say where I got it from. For like $100-something. You know, most of the products on this store really suck. But this Briggs & Stratton engine I am very impressed with, because it's been staying outside for years, like 3 years, and it starts up with no problem. And now we decide we're going to leave it and keep it inside. All right, let's set this camera up and get those heads on the table. Be right back. Okay, here we got the first cylinder head up. Here you got the pack of valve stem seals, or a lot of mechanics like to call them umbrella seals. Now what they do is, when I take this apart, it's going to be better to show you, but it stops oil from draining down in there, coming into the combustion chamber where the valves and the spark plugs are, and then, you know, you get blue smoke out of the tailpipe. This stops that from the cylinder head. Instead of going out and getting a rebuilt cylinder head or something, change the seals. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take off the rockers. Now this process is very similar to other vehicles. You got to take off the rockers to get to it. Now looks like this one I can swing the rockers out of the way and get to the valves, except for this one over here. So let's make it easier. Let's get these rockers off of here. You know, it would have been a lot easier if I would have just hooked up the AC compressor, the air compressor, and did these, but it's okay. Now what you want to do is, when you take these off, you want to try to, even though a lot of rockers are the same, you want to try to keep them in the same order as they came off. Set those to the side, and let me show. Yeah, you got a pretty good clear view of this. Now we're at the valves. Now, let me set that camera up so you can get a better look at this. Great. You know what? Before we do that, let me show you the tool that I'm using. Here's the other cylinder head. Now we're only going to be doing one cylinder head on this video, because the second one is going to be identical to it. Now what we got here is OTC 4842 heavy duty HD valve spring compressor. As I said before, we went through a lot of tools, but by far this set was definitely the best. Very easy to use, especially sometimes you get valves that's really recessed into the head, but you can't get any other tool. This tool gets right in there to it. Great tool. All right, now there's two ways of taking these. There's little keepers in there on each of these that's holding that valve up and holding the spring down. There's two ways of taking this out. Either we can use a tool, or we can do a quick way. What we do is get a rag, set it up under the cylinder, take a socket with a hammer and shock it, and it'll pop it right loose. That's the easiest way of doing this. Let me show you what I mean on that. Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit here. Now you can't just shock it and expect it to come off, because a chance you're going to hit the valve up against something underneath and cause damage. So what you do is pick the head up, set a rag, just about 2 rags, right up under the valves, just like that. Take you a socket, put it over the valves, make sure you can see this, and then you shock it. Now, you're going to get the keepers that's going to fall out, but just make sure you keep an eye on them. I see one of them already. You know, these are really in there. You know what? Let's do this the easy way, and let's get the tool to do this. But here are the keepers. A lot of time that works, but hey, let's get the tool and do this the right way. As you can see, these are the keepers. They have 2 half moons, and they're made, the top half is wider than the bottom half. Okay? And sometimes you got to get, if you lose them, they're going to ask you how many grooves. As you can see, this one has 4 grooves in it. So let's set this tool up. Oh, that's a perfect fit right there, so we know that one's going to be good. We're going to set this cylinder head up. Let's take out these bolts. So as you can see, I need 1 cup to go into the top, 1 to the bottom to hold the face of the valve. I'm going to open this up until the top cup. Gotta make sure you can see this. Then I can do the rest of them. You want to make sure this top cup rests right on the valve, right on top of the valve, right on top of the spring, right there. And then the one on the bottom is going to rest on the valve itself. So once you flip it up, see, and then you take the tool right here and you twist it in and compress that spring. Let me set the camera down. Okay. Now, as you can see, it compressed the spring, and there's the other keeper right in there. Let's get that out of there. Sometimes you might have to use a screwdriver. Sometimes you might have to compress it a little bit more. Let's compress that a little bit more. Okay, see, we compressed it. We got the tool right there. Okay, the valve keeper just fell out. Then what you do is unscrew it. So you're pretty much releasing it now. You're releasing that spring. That spring is gonna keep going out until it's completely loose. Remove the tool. A little bit more. Okay. Now it'd be a good idea to take the spring and set it down. There's the top of that spring right there. That's what keeps it pressed down. Alright, that's one. Keep it in line. Move the tool out the way. Fold it down. Bring the head back down. And there you are. There's your umbrella seal. And what you want to do is take the valve, push it down. Try to keep them in line. Now, what would be a good idea is take a marker or something, wipe the valves off, and number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way, just in case they fall apart over there, you still know where they go. So, matter of fact, we are going to do that. And here's the other valve keeper. Put that up there. And there's the valve stem seal right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark all of those, and then we're going to come back. Be right back. Okay, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I mark number 6. So we know when we take them out, when we put them back in, we know exactly where they go. Alright, now you got the idea of taking off one. So what I'm going to do is take off the rest of these valve springs and get the valves out of there. And then we'll come back and we'll install, and we'll remove and install a few of the umbrella seals or valve stem seals. Be right back. Okay, we're back. That took all of five minutes, man. It's very easy with that tool. Okay, there we go. We got the valves out. There's the springs. Keep an eye what you're keeping on your keepers. There should be 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. We're good. There are the old valve stem seals. A lot of times those things are really down there. You probably have to use a pair of pliers or something to pull them up. But with these, they pop right up with a screwdriver. Okay, you want to make sure these are out of there, so make sure you have, you know, depending on how many valves you have on that cylinder head, we have 6. Make sure you have 6 of the old ones out of the way. You don't want nothing clogging up any of those ports for the oil to drain down. Okay, we got them all out. Get yourself a rag. Just wipe it off a little bit. That's great. Now remember, see, now when those valves are in there, when oil is going all through here, if those umbrella seals or valve stem seals are worn, what happens is oil will seep down through the side of it, through the valve. I'll show you an example here. Now see, it goes like this. See, that's kind of loose. So oil will seep down through there and get into the combustion chamber. Set this up. So seep down in there, get in through the combustion chamber, and burn oil. Out the exhaust and you get blue smoke. Blue smoke and white smoke is very similar to each other, so you gotta pretty much pay attention to it. After years of doing it, I know I can pretty much tell, and you know it only takes you a few minutes. Check it out. If it's going to be a very light blue, that's oil burning. Okay, more than likely it's going to be your valve stem seals. Okay, not your rings. Rings are very, very, very rare. Okay, so now we're going to install the new ones. We go over here. Got a nice pack of blue umbrella seals. Let's set this camera down. Okay. Got a nice blue set. Now, it's very important. What I want you to do is these gas to be installed dry. All right, don't put no grease or anything on there, lithium like we're about to do on something else, but they have to be able to stay onto the head. So we take one. This is how you're gonna do all of them. And sometimes the outside of these have like a metal ring where you can take a socket and you can beat down on it, but just push it down. So that, get another one over here. Get it right there. Push it right on top. Push down. You do all 6 of them. Like that. See how easy that is? Make sure they're down. You flip that head back up. Now what you're going to do, you got the valves over there. Got some lithium grease right here. You want to put some lithium grease on the top of each valve, so it don't, that way it don't scar up the valve stem seal going in there. There's usually is a little, which I don't see it here, there's a little plastic boot that they give you to go on top of that, so you can put the valve in there a lot easier. But this kit did not come with it, so we're gonna have to do this our way. Okay, let's set this camera up here. And well, let me set this camera up and I'll be right back. Okay, we got those up there. Now before we install them into the head, what we're gonna do, we got a little bench grind over there, a wire wheel, and we're gonna clean up the face of those valves. See that? We're gonna clean that up a little bit. Notice that last one. Notice how burnt that is. See, so much gas, and there was a little antifreeze going over there too. So this cylinder really wasn't really sealing all that well. Yeah, you see the difference in that? So we're gonna clean those up, and luckily the face of it is in good condition, so we're not gonna worry about that. So we're gonna go over here to the grinder. And put this. And we're gonna start taking these. Don't try to clean up that part, because that's where your numbers are. Unless you have to. Alright, so let's get this set up and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get this started off with number 6. It's right here. Let's cut this on. All we want to do is clean it up a little bit. We're not go crazy. Good enough. And we'll do each of them. All right? Let's get those done, and we'll be right back. Okay, we got all the valves, you know, cleaned up. Time to put them in where they go. Remember, put a little petroleum grease or lithium on the top of each valve stem. And you'll notice inside, you'll see exactly where it goes. Twist it as you go in. Turn it back over. And there it is. Where is it? There it is, right there. So, let's get all those installed. Got them installed. Now just take them and you want to twist a little bit just so they go in, back and forth. Now, you see how I held the cylinder head like this? If any of those was worn or messed up, one of those valves would have started coming right out. As you can see, we got all of them installed. Now what we're going to do is tilt the cylinder head back up. We're going to go with number 1. Now let's bring the cylinder head a little bit closer to here. Start off with the first one. You're going to put it on top. Get the tool, compress that back in, and put the valve keepers back in place. Alright, let me set my tool up on it, and then I'll come back and show you how to install the valve keepers. Okay, we got our tool, we got the spring pushed down. Now remember the lithium grease we put on the top of each valve stem. That's going to help you. Let's make this a little bit easier to take my gloves off. That's going to make it easier to install these keepers. Keep the grooves lined up with the groove on the stems. See, that's one in place. Then we get the other one. Now I want you to remember how I told you before, on these valve keepers, the top half is larger, wider than the bottom half. The top half goes to the top of the valve. And that's on all valve keepers. Let's try to get this in there. Sometimes this thing is hard to see. You know, let's make this a little easier for ourselves and put a little more lithium grease on the keepers to help them stay into place. And then try to install them. Okay, once you have them in place, you slowly, oops, coming out here. Let's get that back down there because that don't seem to be, there we go. You slowly release the tool. And those keepers will keep that valve in place. Perfect job. Then you move on to the next one. All right. Okay, we just installed one. Perfect, great fit. Here's the old one. Nice new blue ones. They're really going to stop that oil from leaking down into the combustion chamber. And now we're going to do the rest of them. And then after we're done with that, we're going to go over here and do this cylinder head. Okay. Now remember, valve stem seals are very important because what they do is stop oil from going down into the combustion chamber, and then you got a lot of oil, blue smoke going out the tailpipe, and then you got to try to get some money to put this cheap stuff into to mix with the oil to try to stop oil burning. And that's the only thing that's doing is messing things up. All right, we're gonna put that together, and then on our next video, we're gonna put these cylinder heads on that engine you've seen, on that 2001 Dodge Grand Caravan Sport. This is Timmy from Astro Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. Take care.